This podcast was produced on the lands of the Cubby Cubby people. We pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and thank them for how they have lovingly cared for and preserved the land, natural resources, and bush medicine in which we are inspired by today. Hello and welcome to the Students of Natural Health podcast. My name is Dana Laura. I'm a student naturopath from Australia and I'm going to be your host for this episode. Now, joining me in today's interview, we have the lovely Alecia. So she's currently a final year student naturopath with a previous degree studying a Bachelor of Biomedical Science, majoring in cell and molecular biotechnology. Did I get that right?
Yes, you sure did.
Yeah. I want to welcome you to the pod. Thank you so much for being on here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to chat with you. All right, lovely. My first question for you today is, what was your motivation to choose this career? I'm going to specifically ask in regards to the naturopathy, and then maybe we can circle back to your previous degree.
Yeah, for sure. It all kind of links in together. Like, I guess I did my initial degree and I did love it. And originally I was going to be a doctor and I took a year to kind of study for the exam to get in. And I don't know, I worked in a hospital for a year and just seeing how the medical system worked, like I always had this passion to like help people and just educate them on like their health and I guess like live better for longer. And just the Western medical system was kind of flawed in that way. And I just thought to myself,
Yeah.
like, there could be another option here. Like, there can't just be this way of life, and we can't all just have this chronic disease, and that's just how we end up and how we die. And yeah, I personally saw a naturopath myself, and she was amazing. She changed my life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just wanted to change lives like her. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do it, bite the bullet, and it's the best thing I ever did.
Oh, that's so cool. I've got goosebumps. So it wasn't always in the plan then for you to be a naturopath and to compile the degree. Like it's something that you stumbled across.
Yeah, and to be honest, it was kind of like my own health journey doing my biomed degree. I loved it, but I kind of just reached this place of burnout and just complete, I guess, like nervous system depletion. Like I had no motivation. My body was just kind of like failing on me. And I was just driving it into the ground, thinking that was like how I was meant to live. And I just decided like it can't be, like this isn't right. And
Yeah.
I saw people around me and just like people in my family as they got older. I just didn't want to end up in that same space. And I could see that was like the trajectory I was going into. Like I'm still obsessed with like science and biochemistry and all the stuff that my biomed degree offered to me. I just think that there's a way of kind of working them in together. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
stumbled across it. It was good.
I think that's such a common route that people take. Like they
Mm.
realize that, well, A, they see somebody and then they go, wow, this is so amazing. I would love to do this. But B,
Yeah.
their professions that they were previously in was leading them on the road to burnout. I know
Yeah.
I can really like empathize with you. I was personally considering being a midwife. Like
Oh, wow.
yeah, I've jumped around of a lot of different things, but my gun ho thing that I wanted to do was be a midwife. And the more autobiographies I read, the more people I spoke to, the more I heard, oh, that this is a profession that you will burn out. It's not if, it's when you burn out.
Yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, it's difficult to sustain that and be excited to go into that when you know you're going to end up doing it at the potential of, damaging your health. It's
Yeah, leading yourself to failure. And it's like you want to help these people, but like you're pouring your cup and like your empathy and your worth into all of these people. And then you just end up fully empty with nothing. And it's like, that's just not how it should be. Like we should be able
yeah,
to fill everyone else's cup, but also fill our own. And I feel like naturopathy does that in a really great way.
100%. And we have to advocate for that too. Like that's such a big part of
Um,
our what we're learning, is how to
oh,
teach people balance and regulation
yeah,
and cortisol. Like you can't preach that and not not live it,
exactly. We live and breathe it.
That's it. That's it. Has your previous degree really helped you in naturopathy? And is naturopathy satisfying that scientific urge, that scientific itch for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't regret it for a second. I wish I stumbled across naturopathy earlier just in my life, but no, not one little bit. I think that having that understanding of the Western medical system and having that appreciation for Western medicine is really what it's all about, Like we can't just have one or the other. Like there's a reason that we're living until we're in our 80s now because we have antibiotics and we have surgeries that are life-saving. Like there's something to say for that. And it's an amazing, I guess, medical system and the way that we can incorporate like conventional medicine and naturopathy. I don't know, I just thought it was so beautiful, like having both degrees and like bringing it together. And especially in like my last year, it's all just kind of molding into this like beautiful bubble of health. And I'm so here for it. Like it's so great because I see people and they come and see me in clinic and they almost feel so bad. They're like, they feel ashamed for being on like the contraceptive pill or they took antibiotics and they feel bad. And I'm like, no, like that helped you. That helped you when you needed it. And I'm so glad you did do that because, you could have been so much far off and far worse than you were at the time. And it's like, I don't know, there's just such a divide in the two, I guess, medicines. I am kind of aiming to just bring it back together and like have that proper relationship with both sides.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. I love
Sure.
that. I must admit, I am sometimes guilty of bashing Western medicine, but that is coming from
Easy
my
to.
own experience and bias of it not
Yeah.
working for me. And I think it is easy to
Mhm.
jump on that bandwagon. But yeah, if you can separate Western medicine as emergency medicine and then utilizing naturopathy alongside it, you're right, it can
Mhm.
create this really beautiful, harmonious picture of health. So
100%. And it's like you think of Western medicine as like, yeah, the emergency, but then like naturopathy and natural health is preventative. And that's where like our medical system is lacking. It's like that prevention. And that's really when naturopathy can shine. So it's a
yeah,
great mixture of the both.
I love that. So you're on your way to finishing, are you? Or have you recently finished and you're awaiting graduation?
I'm nearly finished. So I officially am done all of my classes and my clinic end of September. So very soon, very
Woohoo!
exciting. Yeah, finally.
What has your study load looked like throughout the degree?
So thankfully, I basically got 6 months of like deferred from my other degree. So that really helped in the way that I guess this naturopathy degree is structured. So a lot of people don't tell you this, but naturopathy degrees are really hard and they're quite strenuous. Like coming from doing a biomed degree, like I would definitely argue that this one has been harder, just purely from
Really?
like the workload and like and just what they expect of you. Like, not many universities say, oh, one semester is 6 subjects long. Like that's just insane. But that's the course progression. So yeah, I kind of did mine. It's taken me 4 years. Like once I finish this, it'll be 4 years. So I added on another 6 months purely so that I could do it at a pace that was good for me and my nervous system and my life.
Yeah, yeah.
I was doing
Practicing
at
what you
least,
preach.
yeah, trying to get it in there. So yeah, I was doing 4 subjects, 4 to 5 subjects at least every semester, and then I would always do either 1 to 2 subjects in the summer, just to kind of keep the progression going. And yeah, it does really help that we're able to do like online subjects and things. And then by the time I got to clinic, I was basically nearly done. So
Yeah, nice. And just to clarify as well, which university do you go to?
I go to Endeavour College of Natural Health.
Yeah, nice. How has your experience been there? Have you enjoyed your time there?
Yeah, I mean, I personally have. It's actually been quite nurturing, and this is just coming from like a comparison to my other degree. So I studied at QUT
Yeah.
and it was good, but I don't know, it's just a different kind of system, I guess. Like it's a lot more easily accessible. I find it's not that hard to kind of get in contact with people just because it's a smaller uni. So there's less kind of avenues you have to go through to get your answer. But yeah, I've found it really enjoyable so far.
You sort of already answered my question about like how do the two degrees compare? Like, so you've actually found this degree more challenging.
The biomed degree it was hard. It's just hard in a different way, I guess. Like in biomedicine and in science, like you're not taught people skills, you're not taught like counseling skills. So that in itself is quite a lot, like the psychology behind I guess, seeing a client and having to get really bad news, or they drop some, I guess, like trauma on you, and having to, I guess, like deal with that, but then be able to be professional. And it's just different the way that we're taught in biomed. Like it's very research based. You're in a lab, you're working with like cells, you're working with like body parts, that it's all very disassociated, where I guess your emotions are involved in naturopathy.
Yeah.
So as hard as it was in my biomed degree, that was all very like, in my mind, black and white science. It was like
Yeah.
you find the evidence, you research it, you do it. Whereas this, like, we're looking at holistic framework. So that's like we're looking at spiritual stuff, we're looking at mindfulness. It's all so encompassing. And I feel like just learning that extra bit and delving that little bit deeper was a bit harder for me to understand just from like a logical concept. But I have enjoyed it a lot.
I'd love to know if this is your experience too, because I've done a bit of nursing, I've done a bit of midwifery, and I
Mm.
actually found it quite difficult in terms of searching for research, like supporting my assignments with research. Have you found that difficult as well? Because there's not as massive of a platter of a smorgasbord of research out there.
Yeah, yeah. You do have to really dig deep, that's for sure. I mean, you can spend hours hunched over at a computer, as you would probably know, trying to search for this kind of stuff. But yeah, I completely agree. It's like you have to get the buzzwords in there. Like you can't just search like, something for anxiety, or like how does this work? It's all very intertwined, and thankfully we have those like library guides and those portals that we can utilize, and I could utilize as well. But yeah, it's just so hard. Like it's a wonder that we find anything for these assignments.
What was your favorite subject that you studied so far?
Well, I'm a biochemistry gal and
Yeah.
a bit of a science nerd, as you can tell. So, all the biochem subjects I loved. There was one subject that I'll honestly never forget. It was in my second year, and it was just like the biochemistry of nutrition. So, it was like going about like the biochemical pathways of like how vitamin C is absorbed and like how it works in the body. Like that literally blew my mind and gave me so much more an appreciation for food. I was like, every time I would eat like an orange or anything, I was like, yes, I know exactly what's happening here. I'm feeling amazing.
That's
I
brilliant.
loved it.
Oh, that's so cool. Have you found your niche and your passion within naturopathy yet?
Yeah, I think so. Like, obviously, every day, like every time I'm in clinic, I'll have a case and I'll go, oh, like I loved that. Or like I just keep growing on my knowledge. And as they say, like, I don't know if you've heard this, but everyone says like you feel like you finished this degree and you know absolutely nothing. Like, I'm starting to think that's more and more true, because I go, oh, that's so cool. And then I research it. I'm like, wow, I knew nothing about that. But yeah, I really love the whole, I guess like not so much biohacking, but just like optimizing health and just for what it is as a whole. Like I love like I guess like aging populations and like preventing like disease, I guess, and just
Yeah.
learning like the underlying causes for these chronic diseases. I think that's really cool. And just yeah, like I love the idea of biohacking and optimizing our health. I personally have a soft spot for women's health, as most women do.
Yeah. Yep.
Originally I wanted to go into like IVF and like be like a gynecologist and like work with women to help preconception and pregnancy. So I guess that's definitely followed on in my life and like from my last degree. So I do have that little like soft spot and I will always cherish her. But yeah, I do love like both kind of sides. It's a very broad scope, but I'm sure I'll tailor it in soon.
Very cool. Very cool. Oh, I just have to sit and think about that for a second because that was great. um,
But
I'm vibing so hard with this conversation right now. It's so
I'm
good.
loving it. I'm living for it.
If you can't hear, I'm sort of like fangirling a little bit. Like I'm actually a bit. I think I have a girl crush on you.
Oh my God, stop it. Thank you.
Okay. What have been some of your most difficult barriers that you've had to overcome during your studies so far?
I guess it's like it's just been like my life stage, like
I
when
feel
I when
that.
I did my life, honestly. And like I feel for it. Like I feel for the women that have children, are married, have like a house. Like honestly, all power to them, because even like I have a partner, but I don't have children and I live out of home. But even that in itself, just like working to pay rent and just having a job, having a life, like a social life. It was really hard. Whereas my last kind of degree, I was 18, 19. So, you're at home, you can kind of do whatever you want. Money's not really a factor. Whereas you're in that kind of life stage of like early to mid 20s and you're trying to get your life together, working uni around all of that. Like uni has to be your priority. Otherwise, it just falls to the wayside. And like so many things in that life stage need to be your priority.
Yeah, yep.
So having it all on the top level, I think it was really hard just trying to juggle everything in one go.
Yeah. So did you work while you completed this degree as well?
Yeah, yeah. So I swapped between like 3 or 4 days a week at my job. And so I currently do 3 days a week, which is quite manageable now. But at the start it was pretty heavy, just with like the amount of theory and content that's required in the first couple of years, for sure.
Yeah. Are you working a job where you can apply what you're learning to your role in a student kind of scope? Like, are you working within the biomedical field?
So I work at a hospital, and it's actually, if honestly, if I wasn't doing naturopathy, this probably would have been like my dream job as a biomed kind of graduate. So I work in research and I coordinate like clinical trials for ear, nose, and throat. So I really tailor a lot of my biomed to that job, and I get to work alongside doctors, alongside nurses, like big pharmaceutical companies that, now my, I guess, morals and my kind of frame around that sort of stuff has changed, but the premise is still the same. Like they're still trying to help people fight disease, and just like the way that the trials work and like research projects, like it's all really cool stuff. It's all really
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. How do you personally overcome low motivation and burnout?
Yeah, it's it's a tough one. I had to learn by trial and error. I was one of those people that would try everything at once, and someone would say like, just meditate, just breathe, just chill, and that used to just make me curl up into a ball and get so angry because I was like, meditation, like at the time, I thought meditation doesn't work. It's a piss take. Like no one actually does it and it works, you know?
You're like, dude, you're
But
just telling a scientist to like breathe. Get out.
literally get out. So yeah, I definitely learnt by doing and finding like what I love, and that is honestly just being out in nature, weirdly enough. Like, and it's, I guess, again, like practice what we preach. Like we just need to get back to the basics. And I always find like, especially at the later stages of the semester and at the later stage of this degree, like the motivation has been dwindling a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a normal part of the
yeah.
student experience, though. Hey, like,
Oh, 100%. Like, and the fact is, like, your motivation will ebb and flow constantly. And like, I always find that it's semester one, like at the very start after that big break, and you feel, yeah, I'm gonna like, I'm smashing this, is so good. And then you kind of dwindle a bit in the middle of the year, and then it picks back up. And then, yeah, I always find like the end of the year, if I ever reach burnout, that's where it is. The beauty of that is we're going into summer. So I will just sit by a beach and I will listen to the ocean. And it's the most calming, soothing thing for me. But again, for other people, like they want to go for a run or they want to smash something. I don't know. But that for me is what really like rejuvenates my soul.
yeah, beautiful. What is something you wish you knew before starting your degree?
I wish someone said how hard it would be, purely
Like,
because,
honestly, told you how hard
yeah,
it was going to be.
yeah, they go, oh, like uni's so hard, like this degree is hard, haha. But no, like I wish someone said to me that like 100% of your study load is 6 subjects, and like this is going to take up a lot more time than you ever imagined. People being raw and honest about it. Like naturopathy is such a beautiful, like la-di-da, like we empathize, it's amazing. But
Rock
like
up to
sometimes
work in your yoga pants and like,
literally like we have our matcha. It's like we're all chill, we're all zen. But no, like sometimes it's fucking hard. Like it can be difficult.
truth.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wish someone was like, girl, this is you're gonna struggle, but it's okay.
Yeah. Have you got some hero products that have helped you throughout the degree? It could be academically or it could be in terms of relaxation, but yeah, anything that helps with the degree. And also I'd be interested if you've got any like biomedical resources to help us out too, because that freaks a lot of people out.
Yeah, it can be hella scary. Like Honestly, it's pretty basic, but one of the resources that I will like forever cherish in my life is Google Scholar. Like I people will
Yep.
be like, go to med, go this, go that. No, no, no. Google Scholar is where it's at. Thank you. Literally, my life is on that thing. And one thing that has honestly got me through the whole like assessment phase is this citation software called Zotero. It is life-changing. I'm
Ooh.
obsessed. And so like you literally put in everything that you need and it attaches like it's a computer like program in your Google Chrome. So it will just like you touch this button and it saves like the whole document. It's amazing. I'm obsessed. So everyone should get on it because it saves me so much time. Yeah, I guess like podcasts for me have always been a really great outlet. Like I don't know, I'm such an audible and like visual learner.
Yep.
So like podcasts started coming out with the videos. I was like, oh, this is a game changer for me. I was obsessed. But yeah, I definitely, honestly, like from a naturopathic perspective, passion flower will never go astray. That herb honestly has gotten me through my degree. That and bacopa are the two herbs that I honestly could not have gone through this degree without. If I didn't have that or supplemented with them, like I would just be a blob on the floor.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you're not currently at that point in your degree, feel free to reach out. Hey,
Yeah.
shameless plug,
Where,
reach out.
yeah.
Not me. I'm not qualified enough to do that yet, but Alecia here can help you out. So, what is next for you after you complete your degree? Are you planning on amalgamating the two? I can't wait to hear where you're going to go with this.
Yeah, so I definitely am just going to kind of combine the two. At first, I really want to go into clinical practice. Again, like my whole ethos and like the reason, like my why was education and educating people that it's like okay to have both and that it should be both. And I think the best way to kind of start there is like through clinical practice. So I definitely want to start in a clinic if it's on my own or with someone, just kind of I guess, just letting life take me wherever it needs to go. But I would love to definitely start in a clinic. And then ideally, I would just kind of love to get the word out there. Like, my ultimate dream is to like work on retreats and do seminars and just
Oh,
like hang out with people and just like talk to them and like tell them how cool health is. It's literally
very
my
cool.
dream.
Very cool. I love
Yeah.
I love that it's all about as well building your confidence as a practitioner on your own too. Do you feel what you've learned in your degree is enough for you to go out and successfully practice on your own? Or do you feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many gaps in my knowledge, like I don't know what to do?
I think it's a bit of both. Like some days I'm like, yeah, I'm killing this. Like I can do this on my own. But yeah, like there are so many gaps in our knowledge. Like it is true what they say. Like you get out of this degree and it's just the beginning. Like, and that's why I love it so much. It's like you're never going to stop learning. So yeah, I think it's just like humbling yourself and I guess putting yourself to that standard, like you have just graduated, like you are going to be very different naturopath to what you're going to be in 5 years' time practicing. But yeah, it's just kind of like being honest with the clients as well and not
Yeah.
trying to be someone that you're not. Like, I'm not going to try and pretend that I've got 30 odd years experience when I've just graduated. But like, we work hard in this degree and they teach us a lot. So it's something to say for that. Like, it's not like we've just gone and done like a couple of research papers and we think we're geniuses. Like, this is a bachelor. We've worked real hard for this and we should be able to like be proud and go out into clinics straight away. And yeah, just be able to share our knowledge where we can. Like, we forget that, I guess, the normal person or like the lay person doesn't know this knowledge. I think it's like we get into this bubble of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
everyone knows it. I know nothing. Like, and then you just keep getting smaller and smaller. But yeah, I think people really appreciate where we're coming from.
I love what you've said there. I think if you were to go in thinking, oh, yeah, I know absolutely everything, that's potentially a dangerous practitioner. But it is okay to acknowledge, like you've just done 4 years of a freaking hard degree. And that's very evidence based. And there's also the potential as well with working with somebody to have that kind of that guidance as well and to be able to uh, consult with your peers. So
100%. And like especially in like the later years of the degree, they have made it such a big thing to network and to like hold on to your relationships after uni. Like we've all got little group chats and we all like kind of hang out and we're all going to like seminars together and it's like so beautiful. And I'm definitely going to really try hard to hold on to all of that and just
Yeah.
constantly networking and like they say like catch up for like other naturopath, like catch up with them, go for coffee, like talk about your cases, like kind of just like sit down and nut out what you don't understand. Like they probably might understand more than you do. And it's okay to have that. Like it's a really great thing. So
I
yeah, I
build
guess
such
it's
a strong practitioner by doing that.
100%. And like just having those people around you too, like naturopaths, like they're all in it together. And it's like so nice when you have a bunch of naturopaths in the room. Like we're all just like, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. It's
Yeah,
so
we
great.
we really are our own little community, aren't we? Like
We
it's so
are.
great.
So beautiful. I love it.
And we have the potential to make this however we want. We're the up and coming practitioners. We have the ability to change and shape the generation and the future of being a naturopath. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. It's so good. And they keep saying, like, every few years, like, we get, I guess, more and more notice about what naturopaths do and like how they work. And even when I spoke to my naturopath when I first started this degree, she's like, if 5 years from now, naturopathy is going to be booming. Like, there's just going to be so many more people who are going to turn to preventative health and like natural medicine. And you can already see that. Like, when I started the degree, people would say to me, "Oh, like, what's a naturopath? Like, I don't understand what that is." But now you
Yeah.
tell them and they're like, "Oh, that's so cool." Like, you get the recognition that's deserved in that way.
Do you see naturopathy entering hospitals in Australia?
Yeah, I think that one's going to be a bit hard. I think our first hurdle is going to be, well, we're not even on like private health. So I think that's going to be our first hurdle.
Yeah, and
We should
registration.
be. Yeah, and registration. The sad part is that naturopathy is not heavily regulated. And that's why like, and another thing to like your listeners, it's so important to like read up on like who you're seeing because anyone can call themselves a naturopath. Like, unless they have those little codes that say like I've done this degree or like I've got the registration, like they could have had half a year of experience or they've just done a couple of research papers and they've called themselves like a wellness coach and a naturopath. So it's frustrating and it's hard for us because this is our livelihood and we're
Yeah,
trying really hard to have that respect and those credentials as if like the same as doctors would. But
100%.
yeah, I think that's going to be our first hurdle. I'd like to think eventually we get into the hospital system or even into like Medicare just to be acknowledged from that space. But I think it's a long way to go, but I know we have a lot of naturopaths fighting for it. So it's good.
Yeah. I'll actually link in the description some naturopathic associations that we can join as students to help gain our credentials and to get us on a naturopathic register. And they're just really great resources as well to have a look through and like they outline a little bit scope of practice and things like that. So if you haven't already done that, I will link those in the description for anybody that's interested in that. I'm curious, are you the only person in your current social circle studying?
I live with a few of my very best friends in the whole world, and I'm very lucky. And at some point, at least two or three of us have been studying at the same time. And it's been really nice. Like it's kind of nice little like camaraderie that we have. Like we're all in like assessment period together and we're all doing such really diverse degrees. Like we're all quite different in that respect. So yeah, it's been really nice. I've kind of loved it because you're in it together and like people will go out and like hang out on a Saturday during the day, but we're all like, nope, we have assignments. Let's hang out at home. So yeah, I've loved
So are
it.
you all at the dining table with like your hot girl dinner and like, eating and doing your assignments? Because I'm jealous and I really want that.
As much as that would be nice, we'd be so distracting towards each other, honestly. It would take us 2 seconds and we'd all just be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it would end so fast.
Studying similar fields to you or completely different?
So yeah, so one is doing nursing, and she's going to be an injectables nurse, which is sick. And
Cool.
I know, so jealous. And one's doing radiation therapy. So they're both kind of like in the health space. And
Yeah.
then the other one was doing fashion and design. So it's all like similar, but like completely different at the same time.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much for this beautiful chat. I have one question left to ask you. Where can our audience find you if they want to see some more of your content and they need to get some passion flower in them?
Absolutely. So I'm on Instagram as Aranite. So it's ARINNITE. Very bizarre, but it's just my cute little business name. So yeah, you can reach me on there. And I put all of my fun little posts and just like my lifestyle stuff that I'm doing and all the clinic things that I do. So yeah.
I'll, of course, pop that in the description as well for our audience to find you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it if you've made it this far. If you like the interview and you like what I do, please rate and follow the podcast on your chosen listening provider, as it not only notifies you of new episodes, but it also helps with my visibility on the platforms. If you're interested in being featured on the podcast, I've streamlined the process by creating a contact form on my website where you can say hi and let me know that you're interested. All of my social media accounts are linked there as well on my website, and there's even some podcast merch on there that's just come out from my husband. Thank you so much. As always, I'll link everything in the description that was spoken about on today's episode. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.